Welcome students. So here we are going to start with part 3 of chapter 2, classification of plants. In previous video we have studied about the basic classification and the basic characteristics of each and every kingdom, right? So here we will study the characteristics in detail. So the first kingdom is kingdom Monera. Examples of this kingdom is mycoplasm, bacteria, cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria is known as blue-green algae. Now characteristics of this phylum is the organism belonging to this phylum is unicellular prokaryotes. Prokaryotes means primitive organism, or we can say primitive cells. These animals are microscopic, means we cannot see these organisms with our naked eyes. Nucleus, when we will talk about nucleus is unorganized, or we can say it is not well developed. Mode of nutrition is parasitic mode of nutrition. Parasitic means the organism depend upon the host for nutrition. Chemoautotrophs. Chemoautotrophs are organisms that obtain their energy from chemical reactions. Chemo means chemical, right? From chemical reactions means it obtained its energy from chemical reactions. Next is photoautotropic mode of nutrition. Photoautotropic. It is a mode of nutrition in which organisms use light energy and inorganic carbon to produce organic material, right? Photo means light. Clear? The word photo indicates light, as the word chemo indicates chemical. This much is clear. Now next is symbiotic. Symbiotic is the mutual relationship between two organisms to share food and shelter. The another characteristic of kingdom Monera is fixing atmospheric nitrogen. It also works as decomposers. The organism belonging to this kingdom, especially bacteria, cyanobacteria and mycoplasm, work as decomposers. Decomposers, right? Okay. Next kingdom is kingdom Protista. Examples: dinoflagellates, diatoms, protozoa and slime molds. These are the example of kingdom Protista. Now characteristics, or we can say characters. These animals are unicellular, same as Monera. Monera were also unicellular organism, but Monera live individually, right? Individually, and Protista live in a colony. That is why they are known as colonial eukaryotes. These organisms, or the organisms belonging to Protista phylum, is generally found in aquatic habitat. These are membrane bound cytoplasmic organelles. Cytoplasmic is the word which indicates cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is the fluid which is present inside the cell, or we can say it is a liquid matrix present inside the cell. Nucleus in this organism is well developed. In Monera, nucleus was not well developed, but coming to Protista, the nucleus is well developed and DNA is also present in this kingdom. Now mode of nutrition. Mode of nutrition in these organisms is photosynthetic. Photosynthetic means it can prepare their food by their own by the process of photosynthesis using sunlight, chlorophyll, carbon dioxide. They can prepare their own food. Parasitic. Parasitic means it depends on the host body for nutrition. And holozoic means it engulf or intake complex chemical substances for nutrition. Slime molds are considered to be decomposers in ecosystem. Clear this much? Now moving to the next kingdom, fungi. So first, the example of kingdom fungi are molds, mildews, yeast, mushrooms, puffballs, etc. Now comes the characters. Characters are multicellular. Multicellular means two or more than two cells, right? If there is two or more than two cells, it is considered to be a multicellular organism. Eukaryotic organism. Eukaryotic means the nucleus is well developed and nucleus is covered, or we can say enclosed with a nuclear envelope, or we can say a nuclear membrane or lamina. Next is cell wall. Cell wall contains chitin. You will not pronounce it as chitin, it is chitin. Reserve food is in the form of glycogen and fats. True tissue are absent. Mode of nutrition is heterotrophic. Heterotrophic means it cannot make its own food. It is dependent on another organism for food. Dependent on other organism for food. Right? Mode of reproduction. Mode of reproduction, it has two modes. One is asexual and another one is sexual. It can reproduce by both the modes. Kingdom Plantae is the vast kingdom. It is divided into 4 subclasses. First is algae. Example of algae is Spirogyra. Basic character we can say in general is algae is found in fresh waters and marine waters. Means it is an aquatic plant. Bryophyta. Remember this, Bryophyta is known as amphibia of plant kingdom because it reproduces in water. Means water is required for the reproduction of Bryophytas. Next is Pteridophyta. Then flowering plants. Flowering plants is again classified into two, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Example of gymnosperm is pinus and angiosperm paddy and mango. These are again classified into monopods and dicots. Example of monopod is paddy and dicots is pea. So we will again come to algae. Characteristics of algae are it lives in an aquatic habits, thallus-like body without root, stem and leaves, usually green. They have chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is present in algae. Member belonging or the organelles belonging to this phylum may be unicellular or complex multicellular. Unicellular members are Chlamydomonas and multicellular are Spirogyra and Volvox. These are the examples of algae. Volvox and Spirogyra live in a colony, whereas Chlamydomonas live individually also. Cells may be prokaryote in blue-green algae and also be eukaryotic.